Well, hello people, so it's Peter here, and yes, we're back down in the old man shed on a Sunday afternoon at what's coming up. It's 4 o'clock, the temperature, I can tell you, is 27 to 28 degrees, which is hot, isn't it? But today, unlike yesterday, there's a cloud cover and there's a lovely breeze blowing, so it's just, just lovely. T-shirt weather, or even you can take your T-shirt off. But yesterday, Sunday, oh my gosh, we was up in the 30s, wasn't we? It was unbearable. Oh God, so thank heavens that seems to have passed for now, and temperatures are due to start dropping a little bit here in London, thank heavens. And this bit of breeze, I mean, looking at the weather now, we could end up having a thunderstorm tonight, which, my garden could do with a good watering, to be honest. So I don't mind that. But anyway, what's happened, why am I making a video when it's really warm, is I've been down, don't get me wrong, I've been coming down to the old man shed in the evenings, after the heat of the day, and I was running some trains and everything. And what happened, I thought it was quite apt that because it was getting so hot, I got out the two Class 67s that I use with the network rail coaches as the testing train, because I thought to myself, oh yeah, let's have the testing train trying out the layout, making sure that in the heat and everything that Torridon Road is still okay, it's running okay. So I had the test train going around, and it was all good. And then whilst I was doing something else, and I had the train going around after I'd filmed it, and it was behaving as good as gold, all of a sudden the old gauge master, the base station, all the alarms went off, the train stopped running, beep beep beep, short circuit, and I thought, but the train was on the straight track. I thought, well, there's no points, it hasn't derailed. Moved the loco off, the first loco, which was the DB Schenker, and the short circuit went. Chip had blown, because I felt the top of the loco, obviously the chip is inside, and it felt warm. I thought, oh hello. Didn't give any indication on the alpha meter that there was anything wrong, that it was doing something that strained the chip or whatever, but regardless, yeah, the chip had blown, and it was hot, so something untoward. Now, of course, it was a good old Hornby TTS decoder, and I guess it must be about 4.5, maybe 5 years old, because it's one of the, when they first came out. And of course it's an 8-pin one, which is what the 67, Hornby 67 takes, the 8 pins. And so I thought, oh well, there you go. But I thought to myself, I don't think it's the motor, the chip itself was very hot, so something was stressing the chip out. And the Hornby, the old TTS decoders, they're a bit fragile, they don't take much. And sure enough, the second 67, you've back in my past videos, is the story where it was the motor that blew the chip. So that one definitely was the motor that caused the chip to overload. This one, I don't know if it was down to age or whatever, but the fact it's running around when it's all very hot anyway, I don't know. But it left me with the thinking, I had an 8-pin decoder from Rails of Sheffield, one of their sort of budget range, black decoders and things and whatever. So at least it was an 8-pin decoder, not sound, but I thought to myself, well, at least I can check the motor out and everything. And fine, good as gold, like nothing had happened. It was running around the track and looking at the alpha meter, everything all in the normal parameters. So yeah, the old TTS chip was a bit fragile, I guess. I'm hoping that's all it is. I can't see anything else. So, but at the end of the day, it's like, so I had a TTS chip in the old EWS 67, still running okay, and I had this Rails of Sheffield, just a chip running with no sound in the DB Schenker one. What to do? And I thought to myself, well, for the times I use it, yes, I could go out and get an ESU thing, and all the rest of it, get on to Richard at Rows and Rails and get a, but I mean, 100 and something, 120 odd pounds now, 130 odd for a sound chip in a 67 at the end of the day, which is I hardly use. And I thought to myself, even though, you know, everything else is sound, you know, I'm sound, but then just getting on to Richard at Roads and Rails made me have to sort of think to myself, well, you know what, it's forced me now, it's forced me hand. I need an 8-pin decoder, sound decoder. So what's Richard at Roads and Rails offering? Yeah, the old HM7000, and he had the 8-pin in stock. It sold out of the 21 pins and the plus 22s or what they are, but he still had the 8-pin version. So I've now gone, you know, Torridon Road has now gone down the route, at least in the class 67, of a HM7000 decoder. And I've never used, you know, sort of a bit apprehensive, and you know, I've seen there's plenty of videos on YouTube, and I now know if you buy a new sound fitted Hornby, you're going to get a HM chip in it, aren't you? Anyway, done and dusted. Ordered it from Richard at Roads and Rails with the standard speaker, because I had a little single iPhone speaker in the 67, which is 8 ohm. And I know these things, you know, need an 8 ohm speaker. So I thought to myself, well, you know, I will, even though it needs a little plug to plug the speaker into the chip, I thought, well, you know, I can cut the wires and solder them again so I can still use the chip, because the speaker on the 67 is in the fuel tank. And to get the wires down to the, you know, you've got to get it down inside the motor, not inside the motor, inside the chassis. There's a small hole where some wires go down to the switch gear that's in the fuel tank, and your speaker wire goes in down there. Well, that was alright, because the speaker wires, being what they were, had no plug on them, so they fed through. But this thing comes with a little plug on it if I was going to use the speaker from here, and I thought it might not fit, but guess what, it did. So I thought to myself, well, let's give, you know, let's give the whole kit a go. So I chose, on the back there you can see there's a whole range of what the speaker houses are, you know, housings are, all different sizes, as you know. And I found a chamber that fitted nicely in the fuel tank, and it wasn't the smallest of the chips after all. So I thought, well, that's handy. So did the business of sealing it all up, attaching the little sugar cube speaker to it, and the wire with the plug still was able to go inside the chassis, up underneath the circuit board, and then happily plug into the chip. So that was it. So at the end of the day, no soldering required, just a screwdriver to get the screws off, to get the body shell off, and, you know, easy peasy installation. And then of course it was the fun of firing up the Bluetooth and downloading the sound profile and everything, which I'd never ever done before, so that was a learning curve. But you know what, follow the instructions, and the only thing is, it takes time. You know, the first stage is, you know, the app software on the phone was up to date, that was all right, but then the chip required firmware update, and then of course when you're installing the sound profile, that I start saying, all right, you must, you know, you've got to upgrade to the latest version and all the rest of it. So that's the bit. It took about 30 minutes to download the sound thing to it, and then after that, yeah, fine, and I'm in the world of Bluetooth. But I wasn't going, you know, not operating it on the layout under Bluetooth. I enjoy the Bluetooth side of it to set up the loco, get the acceleration and deceleration sorted out, because you can do all that. The sound, believe it or not, I had to reduce because it was too loud. So that little speaker setup, the little sugar cube, I've got no issues with it whatsoever. I'm glad I've used it in the end, and I've saved a little iPhone speaker for another project maybe, but I'm happy with that. So there I was. Come down here on what was it, Friday, and I was running it around under DCC, got it all set up to work on DCC. And I started thinking, well, I'm running the HM7000 chip in one, and I've still got the TTS one in the old one. And I thought to myself, well, you know what? For the cost, back onto Richard at Roads and Rails, order another one of these. Oh, he's out of stock. I thought, oh, blimey, I might have been the last one to get the last 8-pin, I don't know. So I thought, oh, well, okay, give it just one more shot. Did a search, and Rails of Sheffield came up trumps, you know, my go-to shop, I guess, to now. And so therefore, yeah, they had one, and within a couple of days, you know, it was here, and I was going through the same thing what I did, you know, having done it once now, it was a little bit easier to do the second one. Exactly the same. But of course, I was doing all this, I was yesterday, which was the hottest day of the year. So I was in here in the shed in the morning, sorting out the load, installing it and everything, but then it got too hot. I just thought, wow, you know, especially in the afternoon, if you have the doors open, the sun is there and it's coming straight into the shed. So I can't have the shed door open on a very hot sunny day because I'm getting burnt. You know, you're not getting any ventilation in the sun into the shed. So what I did, I took the loco up to the house together with my controller, my very first DCC controller, which is the old Elite, which you know, I swapped to the Gauge Master, but nevertheless, there's nothing wrong with this. So I took this and its power supply and a bit of track and wired it all up. So last night, you know, I was downloading the sound file to the 67, with, you know, indoors, in a little bit cooler. Got it all set up under the same settings for both locos under the in Bluetooth. I saw what I'd set the acceleration value to, what the deceleration I set to, what the volume control I set it to, blah blah blah. Got all that the same. Renamed the loco, you know, 6725. Yeah, fantastic. Took a picture of it like you can, you know, because it's good fun, I must admit. Anyway, even indoors, thought myself, well, it's all set up in Bluetooth. Right, swapped it to DCC. Right, let's see if it's all working. No, it didn't work. I thought, oh no, I thought, blimey. So I went back into the Bluetooth. So I just swapped it from DCC to Bluetooth. Checked it all out. Yeah, it was all working. So I thought, turned off the Bluetooth, turned on DCC operation. Nothing. I thought, oh, blimey, I've got a sort of chip which wants to work under Bluetooth but doesn't want to under this. I thought, oh, blimey. And so left it at that. I thought to myself, oh, you know, started scratching my head thinking, well, whatever. Turned everything off as it was there and started watching the TV or something. And then when nothing was on the TV, I thought, I'll give it another go before hitting bed, go to bed. And I was looking at it, and checked under DCC. No, it still didn't work. Started scrolling down, went into the sort of settings and everything to see if there was throwing up any problems or anything. No, you know. And then there it was, loco address 3. And I go scrolling down, and I then the penny dropped. I thought, wait a minute. Went back to the list, loco address 3. I thought, oh, you flipping donut, Peter. Of course it's number 3, isn't it? Because under Bluetooth the address is 6725, and in DCC I'll put in 6725, but of course it's a brand new DCC chip when you elect to go the DCC route. And what's the brand new chip address? Number 3, isn't it? So called up number 3, changed the address, 6725, all up and running. Oh, you donut, Peter. Anyway, so there we are. So yeah, both locos, and I'll show you, I'll put a little clip now, happily running around, and it's good as gold. But as I said, it's, I'll run it under DCC, but even when you do that, if you fire up the app, and without changing over the settings, you can still change settings whilst running under DCC using the app. So if I wanted to change the acceleration value or the volume and this, that, that, you can change that in the app whilst it's running under DCC, and it will affect the engine. So, bloody clever really. But as I say, I'm not really using the app. Otherwise, the other thing that you'll see, because it's running around, is that Make Your Mark models has come through with the resin loads for my Kappa wagons now. So they've been fitted now with their correctly fitting loads. It wasn't much of a difference, to be honest, between the IOA wagons and these wagons, but they fit like a glove. Mark does a fantastic job, and these resin moulds fit absolutely like a glove. So yeah, no damage to the model at all, because they don't scratch or do anything. They're all perfectly finished. So my Kappa train is now complete now, and that's it, guys. All right, so that's what's been happening. That's why I've been still being involved down in the old man's shed whilst it's been hot, because I had a loco problem. Seems to be fine now, he says, touching wood, because it's, you know, behaving fine. I'm looking at the alpha meter. So why the old chip gave up the ghost, I don't know. If it was operating, if the heat was too much, I don't know, but it was an old chip, and you know, the TTS chips weren't the most robust chips in the world, so who knows. Yeah, finally went pop, but sorted now with new technology, and you know, sort of I've broke me. Well, as you can sort of say, I now know what these things are all about, so I'm not so unsure of them now. And you know, I won't go out replacing all my locos now with these, because you know, a lot of my locos are specialist, you know, the Acura scales or the Cavalaxes, and if you put anything other than the chip that they recommend in it, you won't get working functions on your model. So I mean, if someone's going to put one of these in a Acura scale class 37, and although it all runs and you've got sound and everything, you're not got access to all the features the 37 has, like the, you know, what all the light configurations and things like that. So you know, this is fine. I would happily put this into my old Bachmann class 66s and the old Bachmann class 37s, but not in the new generations where they've got all the special functions and everything. But they have got a home. If you know, they're over the moon. It's transformed the 67, makes it run a lot better, as you'll see in the film. So yeah, there we are then, guys. All right, so hopefully not too long. What running clips I have got, I'll stick on the end of the thing, but otherwise that's it. That's why I've been down in the old man's shed. Anyway, thanks for watching. Hope you enjoy what you see, and I'll catch you later. But in the meantime, yes, it's a bit cooler. Thank God for that. Wow. Bye guys, bye bye everybody, bye bye. Right guys, so let's have a look and see what I've been up to as regards the 67s, now fitted with the HM7000 chips, all set up under Bluetooth with the correct sound profile downloaded, and vice versa. Made sure of even using their own little sugar cube, which fit, you know, everything fitted inside the loco perfectly. But both locos have got the same settings, same volume control, adjusted. What was great about the HM7000s was that under the TTS decoder, which incidentally this one blew up, which is why I had to get a HM7000, it now runs better under the new chip than it did under the TTS chip. The pull away, you know, was very, you know, very slow, gradual pull away was always a bit iffy on the 67. Now it's silky smooth. So obviously the new chip has done that. But also in the settings under Bluetooth, you can alter the, you know, acceleration speed or deceleration speed on, you know, with a slide bar, rather than trying to work out what to do with the CVs and how to adjust the CVs. So once I've got all that set up, just made sure that both chips were the same, and then under DCC control I've given this locomotive and the EWS locomotive the same address. Alright, so as soon as this one starts up, the other one will as well. So that's what I just want to demonstrate now, how it's all running now. So I'm going to start the engines, and of course both engines start. And it's quite nice because it's not exactly the same. Sometimes there is a little lag, but anyway, but still, I'm going to turn the engines on. That's lovely, and that's with the this is with the HM7000, its own little sugar cube speaker. It's fitted in the fuel tank, Didn't have to cut any wires. It all feeds through a little hole down the side of the chassis. That then it can be plugged into the decoder. So no soldering needed. Found the little enclosure that fitted inside the fuel tanks lovely, and did all that, and done both with the same locos. And I've had to turn the sound down, guys, because it's, you know, it's good. I mean, I'm in a shed, so maybe it amplifies things. I don't know. Now turn the lights on. Now I'm just going to press the horn, and you might hear. So both horns will go on the locos, but you might hear there's a difference in when it reacts. Let's see. See, it's you get, every time you press function 2, you get a different horn. So the two locos, they're not set up exactly. They're playing a different horn, even though I'm pressing F2. So it gives a nice result. Anyway, I'm going to pull it away, and then I'm going to stop it at the rear loco, because there's one thing I want you to see. Pay attention to the way this one is facing, right? It's got the grille at the back there, because this is forward facing. And this is where I had to do something special with the other locos. So hold on, let's put it away. And you hear the brakes going off on both. And look at that, that's a lovely controlled pull away. Before it'd be jerking all over the place. But under this, with this new decoder in there, yeah, it's definitely improved the control. And there we are, it's 6725. Now, yeah, even when it comes to halt, before it used to judder or something, you know. Much better. Right. Notice something on this loco. The grille now is at this end. So in theory, the front is hit this way. But what I've had to do is I've had to change a CV to change the direction of this loco only. All right. So it's changed it both to be working under Bluetooth, and also, as you can see, working under DCC operation. So the lights I've got on the end here, let's move it forward a little bit more. You can hear there's a slight difference between the two locos, like when the air, look at that, see, it pulls away beautiful. But you see there, I've got red lights there now, which is correct for the back of the train. If I change direction, I'll get me white lights. And then it should be moving forward this way. Let's have a look. Perfect. I'm over the moon. So not only is the new chip giving me better control over these 67s than what the TTS chip ever did. Change direction. It's now much smoother. You can set it on the fly under Bluetooth operation, and even whilst under DCC operation, things like acceleration rates and deceleration rates, they change, you know, so you can change them. Now the CV in question on this one is, what is it? It's 29. But the interesting thing was, my Hornby Elite, I couldn't read what the CV20 CV29 was on my Elite controller. I just kept on getting XXX all the time, which means it says it's having trouble reading the chip. And I went through other CVs just to see if it was just because it was CV29. No, it wouldn't read it at all. So I then put the loco on, instead of doing it I did it on no, I didn't do it on here. I did it on the programming track, because I've got a programming track for this layout, and used the Gauge Master. Yeah, well, the Gauge Master couldn't read the CV, so I thought, oh blimey, you know, because I wanted to change the CV setting so I would have that running in reverse. Well, it turns out it was quite simple in the end, because again, under Bluetooth with the new software, you can read all your CVs. You do an update on the CV, it calls up all the CVs in question and tells you what value the CV is set at, and sure enough, it called there it was, CV29. So I thought, oh wow. And funny enough, it even had the instructions telling you what to do if you wanted to change the direction. And it said, you know, it said that you had to add the figure 1, you know, just add 1 to the value that was already there, and it would change the direction. So I thought, well, okay. So I did it, set the value, and lo and behold, it's working. And incidentally, I'd put I think a Bachmann loco on my programming track, and then used the Gauge Master to read, to see if it was, you know, no problem with the Gauge Master, and sure enough it could read the CVs. So both my Gauge Master and my Hornby Elite would not let me know under conventional means what the CV value was. It may be my equipment, I don't know, but of course under the software, the app, the DC, you know, controller app, I was able to change it, and I've now got my train running under DCC. I don't want to run it under the app, to be honest, and it doesn't matter now because you know, this is just like running if it was fitted with a DCC chip in the first place. But I've got the luxury that if ever I want to call them up, I can do so under the app. Right, I'm going to send it on this way, and we'll see this thing going around. I'm really chuffed with it. Let's do another horn. That's under speed step 1. That's lovely, isn't it? Never had that control before on a 67, not under TTS. Alright, you hear it speeding up. So I'm very happy. I've got them close coupled as possible, the coaches and the train. All working under the magnets, of course, so that's not bad. That's not bad. And that's not bad. You can see, not too bad when they're closed. And bear in mind that last coach is a different. I think someone told me, because I moaned about the couplings before, someone said, "Oh, because that's an old Airfix coach, Peter. That's Hornby, you know, just put out under their branding." But I've got them all running very close together. Oh, I shut it down. And I think you can actually hear, you get different note between the two locos. So although they're running together under the same number, there's a difference in running two locos. Right, turn it off and see what happens. There you go. And I'll just show you, this is how close together they are when this one's on the straight. So there is a gap, but it doesn't move from when it's pushing or going forward. So, you know, and when you see it from there, look, the gap disappears. Lovely jubbly. Okay. Right, so coming into view now will be the Class 60. And the wagons now have their correct resin loads that I've got from Make Your Mark models. So they're all being fitted with their loads now. And with their resin, they add a little bit more weight to the loco. They fit like a glove, really nice and easy to fit, just drop straight in. Don't mark the wagons in any way whatsoever, so it's good fit. And then of course, as it comes back round again, you will see the two 67s now just running happily together. Or I can put the network rail coaches in between them, and no problems whatsoever. Well, there you are, people. Okay, Thanks for watching. I'll put some more clips on. Bye.